Shalom, shalom, priest. You can hear me?
Shalom, Lord Christ, sir.
Hey, shalom, Lord Christ. What's going on, Warrior?
I'm good, sir.
All right, all right. So we're gonna get started in a little bit. I'm just giving brothers and sisters time, get their questions ready, get their pens and paper and all that. We'll get started.
Oh, God, sir.
All right.
Oh, so you're not live, right?
Yeah, I'm live right now.
Oh, come, sir.
God. If you could too, also Damian, if you could put your city by your name, Baba Kashab.
But come, sir.
Whatever. Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. Y'all come on in. We'll get class started shortly. Just allowing brothers and sisters to come in. So make sure you come on in, get your pencil, paper, pen, whatever you need to take notes. If you're new in this class, make sure you click on the link. If you're on the YouTube, posted a link for your attendance. You'll click on that link, fill out the information, so that way you can be counted for today's class. All right, that's if you're looking to join this school, get your Hebrew name, make sure you click on that link. All right. All right, we might as well get it going. What you think, Damian?
Come, sir.
Go ahead and get it rocking and rolling. Shalom, shalom, Israel. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Barakathum. Yahweh Shamar Alathan Ba'ashem Yahushua is priest and officer Thawashab of the Isupk Star 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Jenny Yahana. And we've been teaching the truth since 1969. And the truth is that this book called the Bible is the identity and the history of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And like the usual, every Tuesday from 6:30 to 8:30, we broadcast live from Orlando, Florida, right? We're in Hart Memorial Library from 6:30. Lock. You can hear me, Tamiya?
Come, sir.
All right. All right. So like I was saying, every Tuesday is the Brotherhood class broadcasted live from Orlando. So if you're in the Central Florida area, any surrounding cities around Orlando, you can come by and get your questions answered directly. Hart Memorial Library in Kissimmee, Florida from 6:30 to 8:30, man. All right. So with the Brotherhood class. Of course, we got our topics that we dive into. But if anybody got any questions, feel free to ask throughout the class. You could type it into the chat, or if you're on the live stream, you can definitely ask your question or whatever. All right. So what's going on today? The topic that we're gonna jump into today. I'm sure you can probably see it written on the title of this broadcast. Right? Is love thy enemies or love your enemies. Right? Growing up in the Christian church, we done heard that statement before. Right? Growing up in any other religion, we done heard that statement so many times without the true understanding of what it means to love your enemies. Right? In today's time, with all that's going on within the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, each time we suffer some type of tragedy or some type of a catastrophic event where we get murdered and slaughtered in the streets of America, we're always pushed to wanting to forgive those that murder us, right? And wanting to turn the other cheek and stuff like that. When the Bible mentions to love your enemies and to turn the other cheek, it has nothing to do with you not getting justice for the unjust murders that you suffer here in America. No other nation on this earth, right? Nobody on this earth, right, will allow themselves or their nation to be murdered without them seeking justice for their people. You know what I'm saying? Our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we the only people that don't understand justice for ourselves. All right. You got to understand, as a Black man in America, as a Hispanic man in America, a Native Indian man in America, that you have enemies, man. You definitely have enemies in America. It's self-evident. I mean, a friend will not kill you and enslave you and rape you and steal your identity from you. Somebody that loves you will not do that and continuously to do that here in 2022. Nothing has changed ever since we sailed here on the shores of America. Nothing has ever changed. Ever since the conquistadors and the Europeans came to America, we have continued suffering through murder and being destroyed on this earth. Right? What we need to understand is how to love each other and separate from our enemies. Separate from those that seek to destroy us. Separate from those that murder us unjustly in our schools, in our own grocery stores, in our own neighborhoods, man. You know what I'm saying? The Lord does not require you to be defenseless. You being the chosen people of God, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we make up the 12 tribes of Israel. And the Lord want you to understand who you are and come back to his law, statutes, and commandments, so that way he can judge all your enemies and all those that murder you in the streets, man. All right. So we're going to touch on what it means to love your enemies. What does that statement even mean? Does that mean you should love white supremacists? That means you should love the Ku Klux Klan. Try to integrate with them. Try to join with them. That's not what it's talking about. Right? Let's start it out with the statement itself. Let me get Luke 6:27 about the shot. Shalom, warrior. You can hear me? I think you got me on mute. Obviously, Isaac.
Shalom, Yabashua Shabbat.
Shalom, Yabashua. Big it up, man. Big up. Got the brothers who going off some Magazar. Shalom, Yabashua. Got the brothers from Duval, Jacksonville. Got the brothers in Tampa rocking it out on today's class, man. Like I said, we all in Florida, man. We spread out. We got brothers in different cities, different zones. Brothers in Tampa, Daytona, Jacksonville, wherever city you at in Florida, there is a officer there, man, that'll be able to answer all your questions and take care of you as a nation. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, I'm hearing feedback. If y'all brothers, I don't know which one of y'all
Might be
two phones pulled up. For some reason, I'm hearing feedback. Yeah, it might be coming from your end, Tampa. Just make sure y'all only got one phone pulled up, or the YouTube only pull up on one device or whatever. All right. So being that you in the library in Tampa, go ahead, shout out the location where you be at, Officer Heiser. Oh, you're on mute, Warrior. You on mute, Officer Heiser. I don't know if you can hear me. You on mute, Officer Heiser.
Oh, Colonel Khan.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay, we at the Seminole Site Library in Tampa, Florida.
Right. Let them know the time, the day, you know, let them know, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, we at the Seminole Site Library in Tampa, Florida.
Right. Let them know the time, the day, you know, let them know.
It's 4711 North Central Avenue. We'll be here at from 6 to 8. It's still 11 North Central Avenue. We'll be here at from 6 to 8.
Yeah, you hear the delay, right?
Colonel
I don't know if it's coming from my end. I don't know what it is. 1 second. Yeah, the brother in the chat saying it might be coming from y'all end. So just double check your devices. Just make sure that it's only pulled up on one device. If y'all want to double check to make sure. All right. So as you get that together, you know what I'm saying? He got classes every Tuesday as well. So if you're in Tampa, make sure you check out the Seminole Heights Library so you can get all your questions answered directly. You know what I'm saying? So the first scripture we're going to start out with, love your enemies. We're going to get the statement itself and break down what Christ was talking about when he said to love your enemies, right? Because when Christ said that, he was not talking about everybody on this earth. You know what I'm saying? Because Christ himself had enemies, right? Why do you think he was crucified? You know what I'm saying? They beat him down, whooped him, spit on him, put thorns, a crown of thorns on his head, and nailed him to a cross. You know why? Because they was the enemy of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Even Christ had enemies. You know what I'm saying? And he even addressed of what he feels about his enemies as well. God is not all about just love all day. He does require justice on this earth. He is a judge. Does it not refer God as a judge in the Bible? What judge you know labels every criminal as innocent? Well, that would be a horrible judge, don't you think? Somebody's guilty of a crime, a good judge will convict that person. You know what I'm saying? Well, the crimes that has been committed against Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we need justice for. And the only way we're going to get justice if we go to the almighty power, our judge, the Most High, and judge between us, the 12 tribes of Israel, and give us justice and deliver us from the hell that we're going through. And that don't require you integrating with white people. It doesn't require you marching with them. It doesn't require you forgiving them and worshiping in their churches. All you have to do is serve the Most High and separate from them. Keep the law, statute, commandments, and the Lord will get justice for you. All right. Everything else is a lie. You know what I'm saying? Everything else only deals with white supremacy, man. You know what I'm saying? Where the oppressor can feel non-guilty or no accountability for what he does to you on this earth. Right? He makes it seem like he can do whatever he wants to do. You know why? Because he done brainwash you in thinking that you have to forgive him each time he commits something evil against you. Right? But we're going to get the breakdown and get the understanding behind that. All right? I'm going to start it with Luke 6:27. All right, Luke 6:27 says, "But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you." Now, what is this talking about? All right, it says, "Love your enemies, do good to them that hate you." All right, this is what Christ is saying. Christ is saying this out of his own mouth. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean you should love those that shoot you in the grocery store? Should you forgive the people that shoot your children in the schools? What does it mean to love your enemies? First, we got to understand who Christ was speaking to. That's one thing we first got to understand. When Christ was on the scene and when he was teaching, he was not teaching and bringing salvation for everybody on this earth. Christ came on this earth for one purpose and one purpose only. And that was to redeem the 12 tribes of Israel and nobody else, right? So we're going to hold this and we're going to jump to Luke 1. And we're going to prove that Christ only came for the Israelites, right? Because at that time, when Christ was born, our people was in captivity. The 12 tribes was under subjection to the Romans, right? Meaning the Romans had all the power. And the Romans was oppressing the Israelites. The Romans was not out there being oppressed by anybody. They was the ruling class. So when Christ came on the scene, he came to deliver his people from the Romans, from the people that was oppressing them at that time. Because they needed salvation. Everybody don't need salvation on this earth. You know what I'm saying? You have people that's on the bottom, that's suffering, that's being oppressed. And you have people that's on the top, that's doing the oppressing. You know what I'm saying? Well, the Lord has come to deliver the people that's on the bottom, that's being oppressed, right? Let me get Luke 1:68. We rocking and rolling?
Come on, sir.
All right. I don't hear no echo no more, so it should be too wild. Somebody can grab me Luke 1:68, Baba Kashah.
Come on, sir.
Officer Yahaza, did anybody had any questions in the library where you was at or anything like that?
Any questions? Anybody got any questions? No, we too, sir.
Okay. Was there anything that you wanted to touch on as well?
No, you can rock it out for right now.
Okay. Yeah, but feel free to add in too, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, come.
So the topic, I don't know if you heard, because it was kind of jammed up, but we're touching on love your enemies and what that really means, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, come.
Love your enemies, right? So let's get Luke 1:68.
Come on, sir.
All right, whoever got it first, you can go ahead.
I think I hear echo.
You can hear echo.
I don't hear it no more, sir. Okay.
Are you good now?
Come on.
All right, you go ahead.
Luke chapter 1, verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he has visited and redeemed his people.
And he has done what?
Visited and redeemed his people.
Who people?
His people.
So according to context of what we just read, who would be considered God's people? Who is his people? Who is his people? Right? He said he come to visit and redeem his people. Now, this is talking about the birth of Christ, right? And this is a prophecy that's being brought out about Christ, or what Christ is coming to do. And he said he's coming to visit and redeem his people. So who would be his people based upon what we just read right now? Anybody want to give it a shot?
Shalak, sir.
Go ahead.
That'll be the Jews, right?
Right. You right. But based upon what we just read, right? What word or what would be a better?
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead.
Israelite.
Israel. You know what I'm saying? That's his people, right? It says in the beginning, blessed be the God, Lord God of Israel. So that means it's not talking about and nobody else but Israel. His people is Israel. He is the God of the Israelites. He only chose the 12 tribes of Israel and nobody else on this earth. You know what I'm saying? We are the chosen people of God, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And when Christ came on the scene, it was teaching, it was healing, it was ministering and doing everything that he was supposed to do according to the will of the Most High. He only did it for the 12 tribes of Israel and nobody else. Right? We're reading about it right now. So when he's out there teaching, guess who is he amongst? Who is he teaching? When he's out there amongst the crowd and teaching the people and the masses, he's amongst his people, right? Which would be right, which would be Israelite, like what Officer Magazar said. A Jew is an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? You have other tribes, Ephraim, Manasseh, Zebulon, Issachar, all the 12 tribes that have been scattered. Right? And like I mentioned, the Romans was in power at that time, oppressing the Israelites. And they was forcing us to not follow our culture and our identity. They forced us to talk Greek, to live like a Greek, worship Greek gods, practice Roman customs. So when Christ came on the scene, he was teaching us how to be a nation again. And it first starts out with us following law, statute, commandments, and loving your brother as yourself. Meaning the people that come from your bloodline and from your nation. Right? Let's read on.
Verse 69. And have raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David.
In the house of his servant David, like it's been prophesied. He comes from the seed of David. Right? This is talking about Christ, right? Read on.
Verse 70. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been and have raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began.
Since the world began, what is that talking about? It's been spoken out of the mouth of the holy prophets since the world began. What's that talking about? Go ahead, Magazar.
Is he speaking of Moses?
Right. Moses, right? David, Solomon. Who else? Isaiah, right? All those brothers that, including Moses, like you mentioned, they're categorized in the Bible, or people in the world like to categorize them in the Bible as what? Their writings and their teachings are categorized as what? They call it the Old Testament, right?
I was going to say that.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
I was going to say it.
God, the Old Testament. You get what I'm saying? Well, the Bible is saying that the Old Testament agrees with the New Testament, and the New Testament agrees with the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? Because it all has to do with Christ. There is no difference between the two. It's been prophesied that Christ will come and a Redeemer will come for Israel ever since the time of Moses. That Israel will receive salvation. Isaiah talked about it. It's written throughout the whole Bible. But all of a sudden, when the New Testament comes, it changed now. Now, when Christ is on the scene, disregard what's written in by the holy prophets. Disregard all of that, and only talk about loving everybody in the whole world. That makes no sense, man. You know what I'm saying? The Bible is consistent. It does not contradict itself. So if it mentions it in the Old Testament, well, here's the prophecy coming to pass. We're reading about it right now. How Christ came only for the Israelites, right? Read on.
Verse 71, that we should be saved from our enemies.
From who?
From our enemies.
From who?
From our enemies.
Hold on now. So Israel had enemies. So who is considered an enemy of Israel? Who were the enemies of Israel in the time of Christ?
Romans. Oh, sorry.
Nah, you can. Nah, it's all good. Yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? The Romans. You know what I'm saying? The Romans were oppressing the Israelites at that time. And if you fast forward today, guess what? Nothing has changed. The people that's ruling this earth today, they descend from those Romans. Those same exact Romans that existed in the time of Christ. These Europeans descend from those people. And they still oppressing the 12 tribes of Israel today. And you know who these people are? They are so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The people that's shooting you in your grocery stores and shooting you in your schools and lynching you and enslaved you and murdering you and oppressing you. You know what I'm saying? Those are your enemies, man. Your oppressor will be a bigger enemy than a black man can ever be. You know what I'm saying? We love to make each other enemies, you know what I'm saying? But we don't never consider whether the oppressor is our enemy, the so-called white man, for all he has done. You know what I'm saying? You cannot equate the two. Think about it. You put both on a scale from what black man being your enemy compared to a white man being your enemy. You know what I'm saying? The white man will outweigh the black man any day of the time because he's the one that whipped your back and put your ancestors in slavery, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we need salvation from them. We need to be redeemed from them. You know what I'm saying? I done seen, brothers make posts and memes mentioning how, out of all the murders and killings that go on in the ghetto, not once has a black man ever walked into a school and shot up 15 children. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? Not once. I mean, examine the history of America. Not have we even done it within our own neighborhoods, but you want to even find it exists where we done it to the so-called white man. Nowhere in American history have we ever have a mass murder of so-called white people by the hands of black people. Nowhere in American history. You know what I'm saying? But yet they do that unto us, and we just want to forgive them and love them and, use these verses in the Bible and thinking that it's talking about them. When actuality, it has nothing to do with them. Christ came to save us from our enemies. And our enemies are the people that's oppressing us today, right? Anything y'all brothers want to add, you know what I'm saying? Feel free to add. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to keep on rambling on. I talk too much. All right.
No, so you two are.
All right, let's continue on.
Verse 72, sir. Oh, sorry. I haven't finished verse 71. That we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us.
And all that hate us, man. Your oppressor hates your guts, man. Can't you see it by his actions? Right? Everybody considered love in action. Well, if hate is the opposite of love, wouldn't hate be in action as well? Now let's consider all the actions of your oppressor. What has he ever done in showing love to so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? Since when? But we don't see him as a threat, and we don't see him as an enemy, man. And I'm not saying we should pick up arms and fight against him and shoot him back and, he's our enemy and let's ride on him and all of that stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But if we can understand who our enemy is, that can help us preserve ourselves in these last days. We need this self-preservation. The fact that we integrated with this white man, we've been dying by the thousands, more than we ever have before we integrated with him. The civil rights movement was a failure, man. You know what I'm saying? We were still getting murdered in the streets, by the wicked white supremacists and KKK and all of that. But at least we knew who the enemy was. We was able to identify, all right, this white man who don't live in my neighborhood, who's trying to lynch me, who's trying to hang me, who put my people in slavery, he is my enemy. But in 2022, the lines got blurred out somehow. We don't even know who the enemy is. We make each other the enemy over the most simplest stuff. A man step on your shoe, you ready to shoot up the whole block. You turn into John Wick. You know what I'm saying? If somebody step on your shoe. You know what I'm saying? But your oppressor, you know what I'm saying? Your oppressor shoot up your neighborhood and shoot up your schools. You still walk inside of that Christian church talking about God loves everybody. You still going to the press conferences and the news conferences talking about we should forgive the murderer. We should forgive them. You walk inside that courtroom and try to hug your murderers and try to stroke their hair and brush their hair and make them feel comfortable for killing you. You know what I'm saying? Well, these people are your enemies, man. And we should have never joined them, right? Let me get Deuteronomy 28:1. I'm going to prove to you that they hate you. I'm going to show to you that they are your enemies. And we're going to read the actions of what an enemy will do. Right?
Come on.
I got it, sir.
All right. Lakim got it?
Come on.
All right, you get down, Warrior.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments.
To do what?
All his commandments.
The law, statute, commandments that's written of in this Bible. This is Moses speaking to the children of Israel, letting them know that they have to observe and do all the commandments. From what they eat, from the dietary laws, the ceremonial laws, from what we celebrate, from even how we dress, how we groom ourselves. Everything is written of in this Bible. You know what I'm saying? That the Lord gave only unto blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And we are to keep these commandments, or else there is a consequence behind it, right? Let's read on.
Which I commanded thee this day, that the Lord thy God will see thee on high above all nations. Come on, sir.
Mm-hmm. Just the last part.
Okay.
Part. Mm-hmm.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Above all nations of the earth, man. If we adhere to the law, statute, commandments of the Most High, he will set us above all nations. All right, we done tried the civil rights movement. We done tried marching, tried to integrate with them, and what has been the result of that? It has been a failure, a complete failure. But the one thing we have not tried is following the law, statute, commandments of the Most High, separating from our oppressors, man. Learning to love each other. That's the one thing we have not tried. We too busy making sure that the white man understands that our lives matter. We ain't got to beg him for our lives to matter. What you trying to prove to him for? Obviously, your lives don't matter to him. But your lives do matter to God, man. You being above him matters to God. You ruling this earth matters to God. And what he wants you to do, and what he requires you to do, is to observe and keep all the commandments, man. Right? Jump me down to verse 15.
Come on, sir. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now, if we don't keep the law, statute, commandments, right? Read on.
To observe, to do all his commandments,
mm-hmm.
and his statutes, which I command thee this day,
mm-hmm.
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All these what?
All these curses
mm-hmm.
shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All these curses. What is these curses is talking about? Curses is talking about what? Is he going to put a spell on us? What are these curses talking about? Go ahead.
Punishment, sir.
God, punishments. You know what I'm saying? He's going to punish us. Now, let's read one of these punishments that the Lord is going to put that the Lord placed on us for not keeping his law, statute, commandments, right? Jump me down to verse 48, Baba Kashab.
Come on, sir. Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Read that one more time.
Come on, sir. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies
Thy
with
who?
thine enemies.
Thy who?
Thine enemies.
Guess what, man? The people that you have become servitude unto, the people that you had to been forced to pick cotton for, is your enemies, man. Your boss, the man that you have to clock into and call him yes, sir, is your enemy. The people that has been above you and oppressing you for over 400 years is your enemy, man. Christ did not require you to love them. He did not command you to love them. You know what I'm saying? It is your God-given right to defend yourself, to preserve yourself. It is your God-given right. Even the creatures of the earth understand that. You know what I'm saying? They understand how to defend themselves. You know, mess with a dog's puppy. See if the mother won't attack you for messing with their puppy. Right? Even a rose is born with thorns. Is made with thorns. You know what I'm saying? Because everything on this earth has the God-given right of protecting itself. You know what I'm saying? Well, it comes the same thing with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. There's nothing wrong with asking for justice for yourself, for being free from the oppression that you're suffering, to be liberated, man. The Lord did not call you to be a servant. He called you to be above them and to rule over them, right? Read on.
Sir. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
And want of all things. Now, when you want something to eat in your neighborhood, what supermarket do you go to, right? Name one Black manufacturing farming company that supplies you with the meat and the groceries that you need in your household. Name one. Guess what? Black people don't own Walmart, don't own Publix, or none of that. But you know who does own it? Your enemy does. The people who you serve. The people who the Lord told you if you didn't keep his law, statute, commandments, he was going to punish you with these people. And you're going to go to them for everything that you need. Right? We don't even own no cotton industry. As much all the cotton that Black people had to pick, bruising they fingers and cutting themselves on the thorns. We don't even own not one cotton industry or even import or export any cotton internationally. You know what I'm saying? We should get a check from all the hard labor that we had to do during slavery, man. But yet they call you lazy. Or you don't want to work. He's just lazy. You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what? We're tired of working, man. Because we get undercut and underpaid and undermined each time, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you know why? Because you're serving your enemy. He's not going to be fair with you. Everything that you need, you go to him. Go ahead, soldier. Somebody says, Salaki. No. All right. You said Salaki?
Nah.
Okay. All right, let's continue on. And like I said, man, feel free to jump in, y'all. Any precepts, anything y'all want to add? You know what I'm saying? I see Trooper Kanak, Trooper Rakam on here. Y'all brothers bringing out some heavy points, man. You know what I'm saying? Anything y'all brothers want to add, man, feel free to add. All right, let's continue on.
Sir. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Dang. Now, does that sound like somebody that's your friend would do that, or somebody that loves you? Sound like only an enemy would do something like that, or somebody that's looking to destroy you, or to kill you, or to murder you, man. Put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. And guess what? In the time of slavery, if you can look at the pictures, there's pictures of it, where the slaves had a yoke of iron around their neck, making sure that it was used so they don't escape from the plantation. You know what I'm saying? Keeping them in bondage, keeping them chained up. And who did that to them? It wasn't another black man. No black man was putting a yoke of iron on another black man's neck. No Hispanic man was doing that. No Native Indian man was doing that. So-called white man was doing that, man. You know what I'm saying? You had your hand raised, Officer Marcazar?
Come on, sir. If I may. That remind me of the movie I'm a Star or something like that there. When they were throwing people off the ship with the yokes of iron on their neck. That was like that was crazy right there. I was just telling my kids about that same thing.
God, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see it, you know, in the movies, in the pictures that they have set up of all the trauma and atrocities that we face as a people, man. And we still facing these same conditions today. The yoke of iron was physical back then, but now it's spiritual, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a yoke of iron around your mind now, man, to where you don't even see who's oppressing you. You don't even realize that your oppressor, the so-called white man, hates your guts. You don't even realize that no more. You think you can join him and forgive him all your life. You think one day that we'll all just get together and young black boys and young white girls will be able to hold hands and all of that bull crap? Well, that's a lie, man. It has never benefited us joining white people, man. Because white people is your enemy. Africans is your enemy. East Indians is your enemy. Arabs is anybody who had a hand in our destruction is your enemy, man. Not the black man that's on the street corner. Not the black man with his hair braided, you know what I'm saying, that like listen to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's not who your enemy is. You know what I'm saying? The people that align themselves with those Europeans, that's your enemy, like your pastor. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that want to join themselves to our enemy, we should make them an enemy of God, man, and an enemy to ourselves. So that way we can preserve ourselves in these last days. Right? Let's read on.
Khan said, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Right.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies.
Now, what is this talking about? This is a prophecy now, right? This is when Moses was speaking this in the wilderness. So none of this has come to pass, right? It hasn't come to pass in the time of Moses. So he's speaking this in future tense. And he's trying to give you clues and signals of who is going to be that's going to make all of this happen. And in his prophecy, he mentions an eagle, swift as an eagle. Now, what is that talking about?
Sloppy, sir.
Go ahead, soldier.
The symbol that he's speaking of is the symbol of America. They're talking about America.
Damn right. Right? The national symbol of America is what? The bald eagle, right? Right? If you look at all the European nations, they all have a national symbol as well. A majority of them use an eagle also. I think Germany, Spain, I think, one of them, you know what I'm saying? You can look up all of the European nations, you know what I'm saying? Because they all one and the same, right? This is a prophecy talking about the so-called white man, man. You know what I'm saying? Who uses the eagle as his symbol. And he came through like an eagle, you know what I'm saying, stalking its prey and swooped up black people and put them in slavery, right? Because you were the prey, black man. You know what I'm saying? And your oppressor is the predator. And now it's time that we got to realize it so that way we can stop being oppressed on this earth, right? So our sons and daughters don't have to be murdered in their schools. Because that is the number one problem where we don't understand who we are as a people, right? Let's read on.
Khan. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Right, a nation whose tongue you won't understand. Speaking English, Spanish, French, All these languages are not our own, right? Read on.
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance.
Of what?
Fierce countenance.
Fierce continents, meaning they bloodthirsty. Read on.
Which shall not regard the person of old,
Of old, read on.
nor shew favor to the young.
Now, tell me not this Bible ain't true. You can't tell me this ain't describing the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian experience in America. We're experiencing this not too long ago. A couple months ago, we experienced what we're just reading about right now. It said a fierce continent, right? Who would not regard the old nor the young. You had grandmas, aunties, and uncles shopping to bring grocery homes for their kids, for their family. Who would have thought that that would have been their day where they got shot in the damn grocery store just for picking up an apple, just for being Black? You got young Mexican kids trying to learn something, you know what I'm saying? Studying, going to school, being a good child. Who would have thought somebody would walk into that school and shoot that child down just for being Mexican? Meanwhile, in the same time, you got Mexican children locked up in the border right now while they're being murdered in the classroom. Tell me that ain't hell on earth, man. Tell me this Bible ain't describing your life. The Bible is trying to show you who your enemy is, man. The Lord is trying to give you what you need so you can separate and get justice from your enemies. Not to teach you how to hate another Black man. Not to look down on another Black man or quick to make another Black man or Hispanic man, Native Indian man your enemy. It's time that we learn how to love each other by realizing who our enemy is. This is how we can unify as a nation, right? Let's drop that. Let me get 68. Let's go straight to it.
Sir. Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With ships. What is that talking about? Somebody break this down. Who want to give it a shot?
Slocky, sir.
Go ahead, soldier.
Okay, when it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, we're not talking about the physical Egypt, like the Egypt from across the seas, because at that time, we could have just walked from Israel to Egypt. So we didn't need ships. We're talking about spiritual Egypt. Spiritual Egypt is America.
Mm-hmm. And right. And how did they bring us to America? With ships, right?
Cargo ships.
With cargo slave ships, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned what you seen in the movie. Somebody said Salakia, my bad.
Sir.
Go ahead.
And also the word Egypt means bondage in the Bible. So when it says it should bring you into Egypt, it says you're gonna be back in bondage again, but this time ships.
Right. You know what I'm saying? We are in bondage right now. The same conditions that we faced in Egypt, it's the same conditions that we're facing right now here in America. No different. You know what I'm saying? We the one that built up Pharaoh's house, built all the pyramids, worked ourselves to death. They was even trying to kill our firstborns. Now don't that sound similar to what we're going through today? Who you think is working all them jobs? Who's paving your streets? Who's building up those buildings? Who you think is doing all of that, man? And at the same time, they trying to tell you to abort your babies, trying to get you to kill your firstborn. And if that don't work, guess what? They'll just go inside a grocery store and kill your firstborn. They'll just go inside a school and kill your firstborn. By any means necessary, they looking to kill you, man. You know why? Because they are your enemies. And this is the land of your bondage. It is not your rest, Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. You should not be comfortable in this place, thinking that you have allies and friends in this place, man. Everybody that don't come from the 12 tribes of Israel, you should separate yourself and realize that they are your enemies and their intentions are not good for you. Right? Read on.
Khan, sir. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
Mm-hmm.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Unto who?
Your enemies.
Unto who?
Your enemies.
Now hold on now. The Lord said, love your enemies. Most High is telling us in Deuteronomy that if we don't keep his law, statute, commandments, he was going to punish us with enemies. And if we kept his commandments, we would have been above those same enemies. So what is the Bible talking about? Is it contradicting itself? Who should we love? Who should we consider enemy and who we should not consider enemy? That's what we got to figure out as a people. Right? You wanted to say something also, your house? It's like, my bad. So like, boy, you on mute if he's speaking.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. So like, real quick, the brainwashing of it is to change the terminology from slave or slavery to essential worker. You know, to try to get our people to do it, you know, without the harsh, word usage. You know what I'm saying? Like slavery sounds so hard. So now we'll just call you essential worker, and you'll do it and make you feel good. And there's no fight. There's no nothing. You go back to doing whatever you was doing. Smoking weed, whatever you doing, whatever's cool. You go back to doing that.
Right. Now that's a heavy point you brought up, boy. Because they're trying to do that today with the school system called critical race theory, right?
Gun.
Right. They're trying to, allow the school systems to bring out the truth of America, but you got certain political figures that's trying to block from the school system teaching young kids about the atrocities and the murders that they did to Black people. All right. They're trying to ban critical race theory and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's heavy that you said that because they're trying to turn it. Right today, the people that banned it, the states that banned it, they put it in the textbook as if it was something, on a friendship level. Like they didn't have nothing to do with whipping your back, and you was just a sharecropper. You wasn't a slave. You know what I'm saying? You didn't come here on cargo slave ships. You just settled here, and it was a ship that ended up getting here and all that. They trying to turn it to where you don't see them as your enemy, man.
So like you said.
Go ahead, Soldier.
Also now they're teaching these young kids that slavery was a migration. It was
There you go.
Yeah, they call it the Great Migration instead of the translated slave trade or slavery. They want to call it a migration. So the kids don't know nothing about slavery in these school systems.
You know what I'm saying? And this is why we're sheep for the slaughter. This is why we get murdered by the tens of thousands in America. This is why we have 300,000 abortions a year in America. This is why we shoot each other in the streets. This is why we sell each other drugs. This is why we whore our daughters out. You know why? Because we treat each other like enemies, man. We look at another Black man or Hispanic man, and we quick to look at him as an enemy, man. You know why? Because your oppressor done taught you that this image right here was the image of God, was the image of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Your oppressor taught you that this image right here was the image of Jesus Christ, man. When this is a false lie, man. This is a false image. And this is why when you look at another Black person, you look at them with self-esteem and hatred, man. You look at them with hatred. You know why? Because he don't resemble this image right here. And this image resembles your slave master. So when you do see your slave master or your oppressor, you look at him as Jesus Christ. You look at him as God. You know what I'm saying? When Christ was a Black man from the ghetto, man, who came to redeem his people from their enemies, from the people that put us in bondage, from the people that sold us, from the people that don't regard the old or the young. You know what I'm saying? This is what Christ came to do. But we have to learn who our enemy is so that way we can get redeemed out of this hell we in. You know what I'm saying? Right? So let's drop that, right? Let's go back to Luke 6:27. So now we understand that we have enemies. So let's go back to Luke 6:27. Whoever got that, that can get down. Plus, any precepts, man, feel free, y'all can. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to know that not only we have class in Orlando on Tuesdays, but we also have class in Tampa also every Tuesday, man. You know what I'm saying? So you can come through, get all your questions answered. Just go to the library, man. Don't even think twice about it. You know what I'm saying? You'll have a brother there ready to answer your questions. But even in Duval too, y'all get down in Duval, right, on Mondays?
Con, sir.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Duval as well. The Lord knows Duval need help. I mean, we all need help all across America. You know what I'm saying? But Duval is pretty turned up. You know what I'm saying? But you have excellent, strong brothers that can fix Duval. You know what I'm saying? That can get Duval right. You just got to be willing to go to that classroom, man, and learn the basic instructions that the Lord set for us, right? So whoever got that, you can go ahead and get down. Luke 6:27.
Luke chapter 6, verse 27. But I say unto you, which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you.
Right. So in 1:68 or 1:7, Luke 1:71, it says that he came to redeem us from our enemies and save us from our enemies. Now it's saying to love your enemies. And we know that Christ only came for his people, only for the Israelites. So when he's saying love your enemies, who is he referring to? Who is he talking about?
Like I said about me.
Go ahead, soldier.
He telling black people to love black people when he said love your enemies, because black people don't look at white people as their enemies. They look at each other as enemies.
Damn right, man. Get the brother ahead. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it's talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? When it says love your enemies, it's talking about the people that's of your own race, that's of your own nation, that's of your bloodline. It's not talking about everybody on this earth. It's not talking about the people that's murdering you and shooting you down in the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's talking about the people who we love to make enemies of, quick to make enemies of. It's talking about those people, you know what I'm saying, who hate each other over colors. You got a blue on, I got red on, I hate you. You know what I'm saying? You scrape my shoes, I hate you. It's talking about those people to love each other. You know what I'm saying? Because don't nobody love those people on the earth. Don't nobody love so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You seeing that right now. You seeing it firsthand. You know what I'm saying? Well, Christ is going to teach us how to mend those differences amongst each other. Because Christ only came for the Israelites, right?
Con.
Right. Let's
so like I said, if I may,
get down.
Also, in the scripture, it says, when Christ say, but I say unto you, which hear, this also letting you know, if I could, I'm asking a question. When Christ say, but I say unto you, which hear, he actually is talking to people that understand the word, because some people don't understand the word. Now, I mean, when Christ say, love your enemies, they'll take this literally and think they're talking about your natural enemy, which is the white man. But a person who know the words of God and they know what's really going on, they know that Christ is talking about his people loving themselves.
Right, because they the only ones that was given the law. You know what I'm saying? That is a perfect point, Warrior. You know what I'm saying? Let's get Leviticus 19 and 18. Right? Like Officer Thumma mentioned, you know what I'm saying? He said, I say unto you, which hear. Meaning the people, the crowd of people he's speaking to, these are the only people who can understand what he's talking about. All right, because everybody else have their own set of laws. The Romans had their own set of laws. Arabs got their own set of laws. Africans got their own set of laws. You know what I'm saying? Well, we got laws within our nation as well, too. We got laws that deal with morality and how we should treat each other. You know what I'm saying? And Christ is just quoting what's written in the law. Right? You got that for me, Warrior? Or whoever got it, you can go ahead and read.
Khan said.
Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Of who?
The children of thy people.
What people?
Thy people.
What type of people?
Thy people.
Thy people. Now that is important to understand. What does that mean when it says thy people? It says, bear no hatred or grudge against the children of thy people. What does that mean?
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead.
That's meaning the children of Israel do not grudge against your own people, your brothers, your neighbors.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? The people that's of your bloodline, that's of your nationality, your race, that comes from your seed, your nation, your people, man. Everybody's not thy people. It don't say all people there. It don't say every people. It says thy people, man. Meaning the people that's amongst your nation and not everybody. These laws was only written for us. So when Christ was out there teaching the people, which were Israelites, telling them to love their enemies, he was just simply quoting what we're reading about right now. That's all it's talking about. It's the same exact thing. You know what I'm saying? Christ is letting you know how to keep the law, the spirit behind the law. Right? It's written now, we should not grudge against each other. You know what I'm saying? You holding a grudge against a brother for something that happened over 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Or you have some built up animosity towards somebody. As soon as a person sneezes too hard, you're ready to chop his throat off. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Lord is talking about. All this built up anger that we have, and majority of it is based off of the trauma that we face in slavery, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, 1 second. All right, Aki, you gonna shut down? What time is it now? Aussie Isaac?
It's 7:39.
Okay, yeah, just give me a heads up whenever you're gonna shut down. You said 7:50, right? All right. The water work. So Khan, you know what I'm saying? This is what it's talking about, right? Let's continue on. Whoever was reading or whoever can pick up.
Khan said, you wanna oh, Slack, I didn't finish the scripture. Verse 18.
Okay.
Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Right.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
You should do what?
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
So who will be considered your neighbor then, according to the context of what we just read? Who will be considered your neighbor? It said love your neighbor, right? Who is your neighbor? Go ahead.
It'd be an Israelite brother. Israelite
which
sister.
is Khan. You're exactly right. But word it in the same context of what we just read.
Khan, sir, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
The children of thy people.
Get a brother in. You know what I'm saying? Boy, y'all both right. You know what I'm saying? It is talking about Israelites. You know what I'm saying? But you can simply see it if you understand the context of it, right? Your neighbor is the children of thy people. Thy people is talking about Israelites. It's not talking about everybody on this earth, man. You know what I'm saying? And Christ did not come to do away with the law. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come to change the commandments. He came to fulfill the commandments. And he did it by teaching us the spirit of the law. So let's jump back to Luke 6. Right? He requires all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to learn how to forgive each other. Learn how to be brothers and sisters again. Learn how to take care of each other, man. All the grudges and offenses that we have toward each other, learn how to resolve those. Right? Stop being so big on your cutoff game and who you cut off and who you don't mess with no more. Learn how to reconcile differences, man. Go above and beyond for your brother. You see how above and beyond your Christian pastor goes for the oppressor. So much so a judge, listen to me now, a full-out judge in a courtroom is willing to get down from the podium and console the person that they're trying to prosecute. Now, when have you ever seen that in the court of law in America where that happened to a black man or anytime? You'll never see something like that, man. And she murdered that brother in cold out blood. What is it, Amber Geiger? You know what I'm saying? Murdered Boston Jean in cold out blood, man, while he was eating his ice cream, minding his own business. You know what I'm saying? Through her negligence, murdered that brother. And we are so compelled to forgive her. Well, guess what? We should maximize our forgiveness and our love for each other much times 10 more than what was displayed in that courthouse. If they can do it, guess what? We can do it, man. Regardless of what a brother done to you. He ain't shoot you down while you was eating ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no brother whipped your back while you was picking cotton. No black man was out there trying to lynch you from a tree. Well, forgive that brother then, man. You can do it. You could really want it. If you really want to, you would, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we need each other as a nation, right? Let's go back to Luke 6 and 27.
Got my concept.
Mm-hmm. Do I get it, sir? You want me to get it?
It don't matter.
Yeah. You get down RC Heiser. Yeah, kind.
So like you said, that was Luke chapter 6, verse 27.
Con.
But I say unto you, which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you.
Yeah, man, we need that for each other, man. We all we got as a nation, right? Read on.
And unto him that smiteth thee on the one cheek, offer also the other.
Uh-oh. Now, we done heard this before now. We done heard this a few times. Somebody made this statement quite famous as well, too, during the 1960s. All right? Telling you to turn the other cheek. Right? While they was out there marching for civil rights and begging for equality, you had your oppressor would meet them out there on the streets with knife sticks and with water hose and with dogs and attack the protesters day and night. And not once did any of them think to themselves, let me defend myself. Let me stand up for myself. I'm out here getting harmed in the streets. All I want is equality. All I want is to be treated fairly. Let me at least defend myself for my nation's sake. Not one brother or sister thought about that. You know why? Because of this verse right here. Somebody gave them this verse and twisted to think that you should not defend yourself when somebody's harming you.
It's a lot, right? If I could.
Go ahead, soldier.
Again, that's one of another, the brainwashing I was talking about. Go into the scriptures, take a verse and apply it, to our people in terms of, of course, they already know what the oppressor is doing to us. So just take the scriptures and say, okay, yeah, turn the other cheek. Meanwhile, you walking down, marching down Fifth Avenue when they throwing bricks at your head. And this is a scripture that they brainwashing your brain to, so that you can just keep walking.
Right.
Instead of, reading the whole, giving, breaking, instead of, doing what the Most High told and just separate. Now you ain't got to get worried about, bricks being thrown at you and all of that.
Damn right, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to do. You got to separate, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we mentioned in the class, man. Like this is, brainwashing that they put on us. That Christian church and Martin Luther King had brainwashed our people. And they brainwashed them so much that we don't even require justice for ourselves. Something can happen to us. We don't never ask ourselves, how could we stop this from happening? What do we need to do to make sure they suffer and pay for what they did unto us? We don't even think about that as a people. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Because we don't understand the scripture. So somebody can help out all the Christians that's out there that think this talking about, just allow yourself to be assaulted. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? Anybody understand that if somebody try to hit you, they gonna fight back. If a black man hits you, you gonna fight back. You know what I'm saying? But a white man harm you, you think this talking about turning the other cheek. Somebody break this down. What is this talking about when it says turn the other cheek? What is this talking about?
Slocky, sir.
Go ahead.
I can give it a shot. It's not really talking about like turning the other cheek, as in, somebody hit you and literally you turn the other cheek and somebody hit you on the other side.
Right. They gonna knock you out. They do that. You know what I'm saying? My bad. Right. Yeah, it's gonna get laid out.
Right. You just don't allow them to do it again. Like, you know what I mean? You had that chance to do it for the first time. Just don't allow them to do it the second time. Because that's just like if somebody come and harm your kids or something like that, are you gonna allow them to come and harm your kids again? You gonna turn the other cheek and let them harm them again? No, right. You don't do that. That's not what it means. So you just don't let them get that chance to do it again.
God. All right, but what does it mean when it says give them the other cheek, right? Because this cheek has already been assaulted. All right, they harmed this cheek. Now Christ is telling you to turn and give them the other cheek. And like you mentioned, it doesn't mean you just get socked out twice. You know what I'm saying? But why are you turning it though? Right? Go ahead, Isupk.
Is it to forgive the brother?
Which is on it. You know what I'm saying? Close on it now. Right? Forgiveness is a part of it. Right. I mean, that's basically on it. Forgiveness. God, I'll give you that. Get a brother in. You know what I'm saying? Right? Right. But what you're doing is giving them an opportunity to not strike you again. Right? Which, you have to have forgiveness to do that, right? But if they strike you on one cheek, you're turning that cheek to give them an opportunity to make it right, to not strike you again. You know what I'm saying? To giving them a second chance. You know what I'm saying? If somebody do you wrong, don't be quick to make it where it's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, because that's written in the law as well, right? But what Christ gave us is the spirit of the law. You know what I'm saying? Give that brother an opportunity to make right for striking that one cheek. Time to slide up out of here, Ozzy Isaac.
I just wanted to say one thing.
Get down, Warrior.
I was thinking Matthew 18 and 22.
Okay, you want us to grab that real quick?
Come.
Right. You said 18 and 22, right? Somebody can grab that Bible shot.
Come. I got it, sir.
All right.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter.
Is that the beginning of 70 times 7?
18, right?
Yeah.
18 and what?
22, 21.
Okay, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 21. Verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? To seven times 7. Verse 22. Yahweh say unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
Damn right. So that's a perfect precept. You want to add to that? You want to break that down?
So like I just wanted to just give out a precept on what you were bringing out.
God, now that's a perfect precept, man. Perfect precept. You know what I'm saying? We got to learn how to forgive each other. You know, the same way we forgive our oppressor. Same way we forgive those that murdered us in the streets, man. You know what I'm saying? You should forgive your brother 70 times 77 more times than you'll ever give an oppressor, man. Give that brother a chance and an opportunity to make things right, man. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was his fault. Maybe it was his bad. Maybe he didn't mean to say that. Maybe he didn't mean to do that. You know what I'm saying? Well, give him an opportunity to make it right. Allow him that chance. You know what I'm saying? You can't allow him that chance if you're ready to so quick to retaliate, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is what's further destroying us. Not only is the oppressor, our enemy, killing us, but guess what? We got to stop killing each other as well. And we learned this from our oppressor. We learned this from the Christian church. You know what I'm saying? The black man is not your enemy, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. We're not enemies of each other. We have a greater enemy out there that's seeking to destroy us. And he'll put a further destruction on you than any drug dealer could do. Any gangbanger, anybody out there could do, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? He is the most subtle beast of the field. Because you don't even know he's doing this to you. You know what I'm saying? Where you think all these gangbangers getting those guns from? Where do you think they get them? There ain't no black gun manufacturer. Name one black gun manufacturing company out there in the U.S. Name one. These kids got military grade weapons. And they shooting each other with these military grade weapons. Where do you think they finding them from? Of course, they ain't stealing them. You cannot go into a gun shop and break into a gun shop and steal guns. You're gonna be flatlined right then and there. Guess what? They dropping those guns off, man. Right. There's articles and written of it. Somebody that says, "Salaki, my bad." All right, you know what I'm saying? There's articles and all of that written about how they used to drop crates and all of that in our neighborhoods, crates of guns, and we take those guns and shoot each other with it, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, give me 1 second, y'all.
Come.
You know what I'm saying? Because the white man is your enemy, man. Let me give you 1 second. All right. So let's jump back to Luke. Right. You still with us, Aussie Eisen?
Come. We was actually getting ready to sign off at 7:55. We got like 5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right.
Everything down.
All right. Any other precepts you want to bring out? While you on here?
Yeah, I'm Tawal. You got anything you want to bring up?
No, sir.
Yeah, we Tawal.
All right. So let's jump back to Luke.
So y'all about you to shut the door.
Are you out of here?
Come. We got like 4 minutes.
All right. If you could, can you shout out the library one more time? We was kind of choppy in the beginning. Just let them know the time, the location, all of that.
Kemicon. So in Tampa, Florida, we're at 4711 North Central Avenue. We every Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. I actually put it in the chat.
Okay, Babu Kashab. Man, damn right, man. Every Tuesday, man, the brother out there, strong brother, man. You know what I'm saying? If you in the Tampa Bay area, St. Pete, Lakeland, if you're on the west side of Florida, off the coast, the Bay Area, all of that, man, come through. This brother will get you right and teach you the basic necessities that you need, man. You don't need no high science, no knowing the knowledge of the dead and the knowledge of the depths of the earth and the stars and all that bull crap these conscious people out here trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, they out there trying to smoke all the weed and molest your child, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, why don't you learn the basics? Learn how to love. Basics, right? Learn what love is. Learn who to hate. The basics. Learn how to treat each other. So that way we can build a nation and redeem ourselves out of captivity. And Officer Heiser is the right man to teach you to do that, man. All right. So the Water Warriors for coming on. Me and Officer Thumb will still rock it out.
All right, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shem Patah.
Our Lord Christ.
Lord, you're done.
Lord Christ.
All right, so let's jump back to Luke, Officer Thumb, y'all.
Luke chapter 6, what verse?
We was at verse 29.
Come on, sir. Luke chapter 6, verse 29. And unto him that smiteth thee on the one cheek, offer also the other.
Mm-hmm.
And him that taketh away thy cloak, forbid not to take thy coat also.
Right. You know what I'm saying? What he's trying to say is don't seek to get even. Right? Don't take vengeance upon yourself. Right? Like if we was a nation, we would have a justice system that we can go to and judges that we can go to resolve our differences. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord is rebirthing that here in the ISUPK. You know what I'm saying? We're being taught how to be disciplined, not to be emotional. So when somebody do you wrong, you're not quick to do them wrong and match fire with fire. And that way, both of y'all gonna be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? It will never stop. You kill one of them, they kill one of yours. You kill one of them, they kill one of yours. It'll continue on for years and years and years. And it's going to continue on for so long, it's going to come to the point where they don't even know why they're killing each other. It's going to be this neighborhood against that neighborhood, man. You know what I'm saying? The Lord will give you justice for what you go through in this hellhole, man. You know what I'm saying? But you should not try to be so adamant and hating your own brothers. Looking at a black man or Hispanic or Native Indian man as your enemy. Your oppressor, the so-called white man in these other nations, they are your enemies, man. And when Christ was saying this, he was not speaking to them. He was not speaking to the so-called white man. He was not talking to the Africans, to the Arabs. He was only teaching the Israelites, like we broke down earlier in this class. So he's speaking to the Israelites and teaching them how to be a nation again. And it starts by loving each other, loving your enemies, loving those that hate you amongst your own nation. Not those that's outside of your nation, man. Right? Yeah. My nigga. All right, we got the mighty man out of Daytona as well, man. You know what I'm saying? Austin the shot. I'm telling you, we spread out all over Florida. You know what I'm saying? Any city you at in Florida, there is a priest there. You know what I'm saying? So there should be no excuse. We are accessible. You know what I'm saying? We everywhere. On the move, man. So you make sure you get down with these brothers, man. So the water warrior for getting down with us. All right. So we on Luke 6 and 29, talking about loving your enemies, right? And who your enemies is, right? So let's continue on Austin Thamia.
Come, sir. Luke chapter 6, verse 30. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away thy goods, ask them not again.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You cannot do that to your oppressor. You know what I'm saying? You are the consumer here in this land. So obviously that's not talking about your oppressor, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, the Bible is trying to teach you how to gain rulership, how to deal with each other, even with business. You know what I'm saying? Even when things go wrong, even when it comes to economics, you can apply this to economics as well. You know what I'm saying? Because, economics is not about the money that you got in your pocket. It's about where you spend that money. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you got your brothers in your nation that you deal with, you know what I'm saying? Learn how to deal with them first before you deal with anybody else. But as soon as we go into a black store, why the price is this high? You know what I'm saying? We make enemies of that store. Why I gotta go over here? Why you go price so why I'm dealing with it? Well, the basics of economics is loving your brother as yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? And not trying to help your enemies get further above you, man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Salakia, sir. We should say to ourselves the reason why the prices be so high in the black stores is because the oppressor charging our brother extra double, and also our brothers not having that resource that the other nations have. Know what I mean? That's the reason why the prices be so high, because the oppressor is not for us. He is for the other nations and for himself.
Damn right. Damn right. He is your enemy. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's continue on.
Khan, sir. Verse 31. And as ye would that man should do to you, do ye also to them likewise.
Mm-hmm.
For if ye love them which love you, what thank have ye? For sinners also love those that love them.
Right. Now, what is he saying here? What is he saying? He's trying to teach you to go above and beyond with your love for your nation. Think about your black leaders and your politicians. All right? Tell me, when is the only time you ever see Jesse Jackson?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Liar, sir.
Get down, boy.
Prime time.
Right.
What is
Prime time.
Yeah, when it's time for him to, you know what I mean? Get on TV and show off that Jerry. Well, he ain't got the curl no more.
Yeah.
Well, it's time for him to show, you know what I mean? Show off, you know what I mean? It's time when the cameras cut on. That's the only time you see Jesse Jackson and Isupk.
Damn right. Damn right, man. Only when there's a check involved or there's an opportunity to further his career, that's when he'll get involved. You know why? Because he only loves people he can benefit from. He only loves people he can gain from, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, Christ is letting you know how to actually love your nation. You know what I'm saying? Most niggas ain't got nothing to offer as a nation. You know what I'm saying? But yet, you should still love that Negro, that Hispanic, or that Native Indian, man. You know why? Because they are your people. They are of your nation, man. And they at the bottom right now. And they need somebody to help them out. They need somebody to actually care for them, to actually love them, to look out for them. And if you only doing it to people that you can benefit from, only that you can gain from, guess what? You know different from Jesse Jackson.
It's a lie, sir.
Go ahead, Warrior.
Ain't that's like how people say nowadays, like matching the same energy. How they like like
God, you know what I'm saying? Matching the same energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got so many excuses when it comes to loving each other, man. You know what I'm saying? Why you think these ball players never come to the neighborhood after they get their contract? Ain't no benefit in helping a nigga. You're going to lose out on your sponsorships and all your opportunities if you be in the hood too much. You get what I'm saying? They're gonna cut ties with you because you're not representing their brand or how they want to be perceived as a company. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Well, you're going to have to learn how to love people that's up the block from you, down the street, you know what I'm saying, that you don't even know, from this neighborhood, from this side, from the west side, south side, north side. You're going to learn how to love them, man. If they a black man like you, they are worth something, man. Regardless if they speak Spanish, Portuguese, French, come from the islands, you know what I'm saying, come across the border. You ought to take care of them because they come from your nation and from your bloodline. They are the chosen people of God, man. And big up to the brothers, man, in the Isupk in Houston. You know what I'm saying? Brothers risk their lives. You know what I'm saying? For people that they didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of Haitians that they ain't even met in a day in their life. But the fact that they was Haitian, them brothers went out there to Mexico, to Acuna, Mexico, to make sure those Haitians was taken care of, man. Off of the fact that them being Haitian and alone, man.
All right.
And that should count for something, man. That should be an example for every black person to follow, man, on how to take care of each other. Because guess what? You being a black man is all the reasoning that your oppressor need to shoot you down in the street, to shoot you in the grocery store, to kill you in the school system, to kill you in the immigration facilities. That's all he needs. You being Mexican, being black, being Jamaican, Haitian, that's all he needs to be your enemy, man. But guess what? All we need is each other so we can learn how to love each other. All we need is law, statute, commandments so the Lord can redeem us out of this hell we in, right? So let's drop that. Let's get and anything you want to add, also in the shot too. Any precepts, articles, whatever you want to get down with, you know what I'm saying? Feel free to add.
All right.
Slocky, if I may.
Can't get down with.
I want to pull a precept about Al Sharpton and our black leaders and the Christian pastors about them only being involved with black people when it comes to money.
Let's get that word. Let's get down.
I'm going to pull John chapter 10, verse 12.
John 10 and 12.
Come, sir.
All right. If you could, also in the shop, if you could read that for the brother.
Colonel Khan. John chapter 10, verse 12. But he that is an hireling, Salaki, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth. And the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. Verse 13. The hireling fleeth, because he is a hireling, and careth not for the sheep. I am the good for Salaki, verse 14.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Verse 14.
I want to end at 13. I was seeing, sir, that there was a good precept to what you were saying about Al Sharpton and them, sir.
Oh yeah. This is a perfect precept, warrior. Perfect precept, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what is a hireling? So go ahead, what?
I mean, I don't know the exact definition, but when you hire somebody that's hired, they actually paid to do a job. You know what I mean? They're not actually doing it. You know what I mean? It's not something they want to do. They paid to do it.
Exactly right. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what a hireling is. Somebody who just worked for the pay, or who just working for the benefits. You know what I'm saying? These so-called leaders are hirelings. They're only working for the benefit or for the pay. Because when that wolf comes, and who is the wolf?
It's like, sir.
Go ahead.
It's like, if I may, I wanted to add on to that. But I mean, the wolf is, like the Christian pastors and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to add on to that as well. Like, I know, like, this guy used to call himself, you know what I mean, a bishop. You seen like my mom, they minister, all them people be around, right? This guy called himself a bishop one day, and I told him what I do, you know what I mean? So I was a priest, you know what I mean? I've been on the streets, I told him what we do, how we go on the streets and stuff. He say, how much y'all paying?
Hold on now. He said what?
Hey, that's the first thing that came out of his mouth. He said, how much y'all paying? I was like, nah, it's like volunteer work, you know what I mean?
Damn right.
That's for everything free. Oh hell, he's like, hell no, I ain't getting down that shoe. He walked off quick. You know what I mean?
You know why? Because that Negro is a hireling. You know what I'm saying?
God.
He only worried about, oh yeah, you do what? How much you get paid then? You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what? That shows the difference between you and him. It shows that you are the good shepherd, and he's just out there just to get paid, man. You know what I'm saying? Because our job requires us to warn the sheep of the wolf that's coming. And that's a perfect analogy that Christ put together and how this brother brought out this precept. You know what I'm saying? Because one is a predator and one is a prey. And not one in nature do you ever see a sheep hanging around wolves. You don't see that in nature. You don't see hyenas and zebras hanging out. You don't see lions and gazelles all together. That don't exist in the wild. You know why? Because the gazelle understands that they have to separate themselves from the lions, or else the lion's going to eat them alive. Same thing with the sheep, and same thing with any other animal that's a prey. They know how to separate from the predator, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, Christ uses analogy so we can understand that we have somebody that's preying on us, and we have to learn to separate and only join our own. Go ahead, also, Thummy, my bad.
Also too, sir, these Christian pastors, they are the hireling, because the white man, who was the wolf, set them up, set these motivational speakers up, because that's what these pastors are. They're motivational speakers. He set these people up so he could teach Israelites to love white people, and it's basically a trick of the enemy to lead our people as prey to the wolf. Know what I mean? He is hired to lead our people to a slaughterhouse.
Damn right. Damn right, man. You know what I'm saying? He's getting paid and he don't warn you about the wolf. You know what I'm saying? He telling you that we need gun reform. That's the topic today, right? It's talking about how we got to get rid of these AR-15s. Why is it so easy for us to uh, obtain one, or somebody that's underage? Why is it so easy for them to get one? And not once do they ever mention how much the white man is the devil. The Bible speaks of.
Okay, it's a lot.
Get down, boy.
My bad. Nah, I mean, just to add on verse
Nah, you
13 as well, like
Mhm.
when I mean when it said a hireling fleeth because he is a hireling and care not for the sheep. Like the men of Isupk, we care for them sheep, you know what I mean? And Jesse Jackson, all them, and even that so-called that attorney Crump and all that, they're all like
Oh
hireling.
man, Benjamin Crump.
Yeah, Trayvon Martin, everybody black that dies, whatever. You know, they all hirelings. We've been on the street since the 60s, you know what I'm saying? Out there trying to get justice for our people, you know what I'm saying? And telling them to get off drugs and stop being criminals and stuff. You know what I mean? We been here since the 60s and they hired to do this and we do this for free, you know what I mean?
Damn right, man. Damn right. Get a brother a hand, man. You know what I'm saying? We do this for free. You know what I'm saying? That's why they kiss our boots and drop a hefty donation.
Right.
Big up to Officer Thama Young, got the first boot kiss in Orlando, you know what I'm saying?
That was
Brother got down, man. You know what I'm saying? This is why they out there doing what they doing, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we out here to warn our people. You know what I'm saying? Call the wolf a wolf. He is a wolf, ain't he?
Oh,
If he's a
God.
wolf, then call him a wolf. You know what I'm saying? Well, if the white man is the devil, that's why we call him the devil, man. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause he has deceived our people in thinking that we have to love our enemies and love him as he murdered us. You know what I'm saying? When it is not talking about that. The enemies that we should love is the people that's of our own race and of our own nation, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, we need to learn how to receive justice, and they have to pay for what they did, right? Let's get that's it you wanted to bring out on that Officer Thumbion on that precept?
Yeah, that's it, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and grab James 4:4.
Come on, sir.
All right, you got that word.
Come on, sir. Let me read.
Con, you got a word. You get down.
Come on, sir. James chapter 4, verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses.
Right, that's what your pastor is. You know what I'm saying? That's who rules this earth. People who only follow their lust. You know what I'm saying? And they are adulterers and adulteresses. You know what I'm saying? Doing all type of lewd acts to fulfill their pleasures, man. You know what I'm saying? This nation and this world is governed by people just like that. Right? Read on.
It's like, sir, if I may.
Get down.
This is a heavy precept you just pulled, sir, when it comes to these Christian pastors, because they definitely are adulterers. And even these Christians, they are adulterers and adulterers too, because they're supposed to be serving the Lord, but they serving the slave master, and that's why they are adulterers. It's spiritual fornication, sir.
Damn right. Nah, that's heavy. God. You know what I'm saying? They joined themselves to other gods and to these other nations, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a good, heavy point. Go ahead.
Come, sir. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God?
Hold on now. The Lord said, love your enemies, right? But James is telling us, which was a disciple of Christ, that if you have friendship of this world, or if you love this world, guess what? You an enemy of God. That's what enmity means. You have animosity with the Most High. Why is that? Read on.
Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God.
He's an enemy of God, man. Because God do not love this world, man. The world that it's talking about is talking about what? What is that world?
Like you said,
Go ahead.
the world of the Israelites.
Not quite, right? In this context, right? It's not talking about the planet Earth. We know that.
Okay.
Right? But not the world of the Israelites. Because he's telling you to not love this world.
Oh, I probably misunderstood you, sir. Can you repeat your question again?
Oh, no sweat. I'm talking about the verse you just read, right? When it says, whosoever therefore will be friends of the world is the enemy of God. So if you're friends with the world, which is, what is the world talking about? You an enemy of God.
When you talk about when it says will be a friend of this world.
Yeah, whosoever therefore will be a friend of this world, right? This world is talking about what? Let's first get the definition. What's the definition of the word world? What is that talking about?
It's like I said, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Age of society.
Right, the age of society. It's talking about a certain society on this earth.
It's a lie, sir.
Go ahead.
It's talking about if you love that homosexuality is an alternative lifestyle, you're an enemy of the Most High.
Damn right.
I mean, if you with abortions,
Mm-hmm.
you're an enemy of the Most High.
Damn right.
That world, that's what he's talking about, sir. So like,
damn right. Nah, you're exactly right. And there's somebody out there that's pushing all of that out there on the earth. Who's pushing it as their agenda to
TD.
make sure you follow that lifestyle. Go ahead, so my bad.
TD Jakes.
TD Jakes.
Creflo, make them holler dollar.
You know what I'm saying? Because they teaching you how to be friends of this world. And this world is being governed by a wicked people that's against the Most High. You know what I'm saying? These nations is the people that rule this earth. You know what I'm saying? The so-called white man ruled this earth. And we're living in his world. You know what I'm saying? And Christianity has taught you how to be a friend of his world. Now, like the brother mentioned, right? Now, what does that mean? If you think homosexuality is an alternative lifestyle, or you're born this way, guess what? You are friends with this world. If you eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, you are friends with this world. If you celebrate Christmas, Memorial's Day, Halloween, any holidays of America, guess what? You are friends of this world and the enemy unto God, man. You know what I'm saying? And God, he ain't out there trying to love his enemies. He has a specific judgment for his enemies as well. God got enemies also, man. And let's read about that judgment. Let's get Luke 19 and 27.
I got it, sir.
Get down, Woody.
Luke chapter 19, verse 27. But those my enemies, which would not that I should over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
My fault. Were you gonna read that one more time?
Kind of sweat, sir. Luke chapter 19, verse 27. But those my enemies.
But those my who?
My enemies.
My who?
My enemies.
Now, we just read in James 4 and 4, if you were friends of this world, you were enemies of God. So God got enemies, and he's getting ready to address his enemies, right? Read on.
Which would not that I should reign over them.
Guess what? When Christ returned, he's going to reign over this earth. He's going to create the world of the Israelites, where everything that's being pushed today in America is going to be outlawed in the kingdom of the Most High. You know why? Because it's going to be God's kingdom with his laws, his way of life, his culture, his way of thinking, his way of living on this earth, man. You know what I'm saying? But if anybody is against that, you're an enemy of God. Or if you speak contrary or believe contrary or practice contrary to the ways of God, you are his enemy, man. And you don't want Christ to reign. Right? Read on.
Kind of bring hither.
Bring them here. Bring them right here. Right?
And slay them before me.
Hold on. What he gonna do to his enemies?
Slay them before me.
No, he gonna love them.
Slay them before me.
Them.
He gonna slay them before me.
Damn right. Slay them before me, man. And that's talking about these other nations, man. Because they are all against God. And you know it to be true because they're against you, black man. They're against you. And anybody that's an enemy of God's children is an enemy of God. And with Christ's return, he's going to slay them, all those that oppressed us. He's going to give justice for the children that got shot in the school, man. For the black people that got shot in that damn grocery store, man. For all the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that have been oppressed day in and day out and receive no relief from their suffering. When Christ returns, he's going to give you that relief. And it's not going to come with hugs and kisses. It's not going to come with tears of forgiveness, of saying, hey, we're going to come together and love each other. When Christ returns, he's going to slay his enemies, man. He's going to kill these other nations and bring justice to all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right? Let me get Psalms 139 and 21.
I got it, sir. Psalms chapter 139, verse 21. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee?
Right. Do not hate them that hate thee. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we should not love our oppressor because he hates the Most High. He speaks against the Most High by his lifestyle, by what he does, by his action, by oppressing you. And you should hate the fact that you are oppressed in America. You should hate the fact that you have to answer to a white man as your boss. You should hate the fact that you're on welfare. You should hate the fact that all your cousins and your uncles are locked up in prison, that your auntie on drugs. You should hate that, man. And you should realize it's all being done by the hands of your enemy, from those that hate the Most High. Read on.
And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee? Verse 22. I hate them with perfect hatred.
He does what?
I hate them with perfect hatred.
Guess what, black man? Ain't nothing wrong with saying that you hate those who murder you. There's nothing wrong with using the word hate, black man. It's not a cuss word. It's not a bad word. You can say hate. There's nothing wrong with wanting justice for your family, for your nation, from your loved ones, the people you care for. And the only way you're going to get that if you hate those that harm you, that cause this pain and this affliction that you're suffering right now. And when I say hate, I don't mean you got to pick up a gun and shoot them down. You ain't got to harm every oppressor that you see walking down the street. If you simply separate yourself, the same way a gazelle separates from a lion and a zebra separates from a hyena, if you just separate yourself, guess what? That can deviate a lot of problems that we suffer in the ghettos today. And if you want ultimate salvation, the end all, the be all, serve the Most High, man, and not your oppressor, and not your enemies, man. Read on.
I count them my enemies.
My what?
My enemies.
My what?
my enemies.
Guess what, black man? The white man is your enemy, and he will always be your enemy, man. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you will be able to save yourself and save your children from the hell that we suffering right now. Right? And with that, man, anything y'all brothers want to bring out? Any precept, man? I know you got them, boy. Go ahead, get it off your chest, man. I know you got them. Let them have it, man. Go ahead, let them know.
Nah, it's too hard, sir. It's too hard.
No sweat. Anything you want to bring out, Thumma?
I'm good, sir. To our class, sir.
Hey, man, Most High in Christ, man. The water, y'all brothers, for coming on through. Like I said, man, we in every city in Florida, man. Got mighty strong brothers. Officer Thumma Young, Officer Nasha. Obviously, Heiser was on earlier in Tampa. You know what I'm saying? We'll be on again tomorrow on the same channel. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll get with y'all next Tuesday, Lord allow, y'all. Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.